Hello. What to sow in July? I'm Liz Zorab and this is Byther Farm. What seeds can I sow in July? Well, there's an awful lot of them. Today I'm going to talk about some of the seeds that you can sow outdoors straight into the ground in July. So I'll start as always by saying you'll need to adjust your times according to where you live. So here in southeast Wales, where we have quite a mild climate and a very mild microclimate, we can sow much earlier in the month, and if you live further north you'll be able to sow some of these even later in the month. So let's have a look at the seeds. French beans, you can grow French beans during July. This is a variety called purple teepee, but any variety of dwarf bean can be sown during July. And you can sow beetroot now as well. So the two varieties that I'm growing are Chioggia, which is pink and white, like a candy stripe, and a deep red one called Alvaro Mono. These plants are from the seeds that I sowed during June. I sow 3 or 4 per module, and then when they're this sort of size, I then plant them out into the garden to grow on. You don't need to thin them out. As they grow, they will just push themselves apart, and you can just harvest them in small groups of 3 and 4. I'm asked very regularly why I always wear these gloves for gardening and why don't I just wear thick gardening gloves. And the answer is I actually have a suppressed immune system, and I was, prior to wearing the gloves, getting an awful lot of infections in my hands. And then finding it really hard to fight them off. So I wear these as a barrier, as a protection, to protect my hands. And if I'm doing heavy gardening work, I wear these with thick gardening gloves over the top. You can continue to sow leaf beets. That's something like rainbow chard, 5-colour chard, to give you a continuous supply of fresh young leaves, or you can leave them to grow a bit larger, harvest the larger leaves. I don't really like the leaves, so I give the leaves to our ducks, but I do like the stems chopped and roasted with lots of garlic and other root vegetables. If you're quick, there's just about time to get in some more purple sprouting broccoli. You probably need to do it right at the beginning of July, but that will then give you a later harvest next spring. July is a great time to sow spring cabbages, so I'm going to be sowing a variety called April. I'm going to sow some now, some at the end of the month and some next month, so I have a continuity of harvesting next spring. As I'm clearing space in the garden and making room for the next round of crops, I'm also getting in the next batch of carrots. So this is a variety called Autumn King, but I'm also sowing one called Yellowstone at the moment, and that's a yellow carrot. And by continuing to sow a little and often, hopefully that means that I can carry on harvesting carrots right through the autumn and winter. You can also sow red and sugar chicories now. Now I'm not growing any because we don't actually like chicory, but July is a time for those to go in. And likewise, you can sow Endive now, or Endives or Endives. I don't actually know how you say them. I also don't grow them because I find them a little bit bitter to taste. But what I am sowing is more herbs, so things like dill and coriander, which I think is called cilantro elsewhere. And I'm also going to sow one more patch of basil. Now, the instructions on packets say up till June, but our weather has been really cool. It's been quite moist, so I'm going to give it one more go, one more sowing of basil and hopefully, fingers crossed, that will grow well too. And Chinese cabbages can be sown now. I think Chinese cabbage is a really good filler. They pad out a salad and give it a different taste and texture, but I also like to split them right down the middle and take the two halves, pop them into a frying pan with a knob of butter, a little bit of salt and pepper, and saute them, and it's just a lovely side dish to a main meal. Kohlrabi can be sown throughout July. I sowed some earlier in the year and it's the first time I've grown them, and I'm really pleased that they have started maturing now, so it won't be long before I can try my first Kohlrabi. And it's time to think about lettuces for the autumn. So varieties like Little Gem can be sown throughout July. And I'm also going to grow a Lollo Rosso, and I'll harvest this by just harvesting some of the outer leaves. It's an idea I saw over on Charles Dowding's channel. I think it's a really good idea to take the outer leaves and allow the centre to continue to grow. I'll also be sowing a few more Salanova lettuce. These are the ones that I sowed in June. They're now almost ready for me to plant out into the garden, and I will do one more sowing of those that I'll plant out in a month or so's time. There's still plenty of time to sow spring onions. This is a variety called Guardsman. It's quite fast growing, which is nice. So those can go in now. And parsley can be sown now. I think parsley is a really useful herb to have in the garden. It can be added to salads as well as to things like soups and stews or omelettes. And I like to harvest some, chop it up and freeze it so that I have it to use right through the winter. If you're enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up or leave a comment or both. And if you're not enjoying it and not getting any value from it, please leave a comment and let me know how I can improve them. Radishes can be sown now. This is a really nice purpley variety called Viola. Don't forget, I will leave links to all the seeds that I'm talking about in the video description. And it's still not too late to sow some peas. Just make sure that you've got an early dwarf variety so they don't have to grow too tall before they flower, and that way you should still get a crop before the autumn. Winter spinach can go in now, as can winter salad leaves. Things like this mustard, which is called Oriental Ruby Streaks. I talk about this one a lot because I really like it. So now is the time to start getting this in, and this can just be sown outside straight into the ground. Sow it thinly and harvest frequently, because the younger leaves are actually much nicer than the ones as they get really mature, where they get just a little bit tough and very fiery. And you can continue to sow turnips. I'm using two varieties at the moment, one called Snowball and one is called Goldana. But I also have a purple top variety which I'll be getting into the ground too. And although it doesn't seem like it's the right time of year, I'm going to be sowing some potatoes this month too. I'm going to use a first early seed potato. They're going into warm ground. They should romp away really quickly, and in 12 weeks time, so towards the end of September, I should be able to harvest some new potatoes. I'll be growing the potatoes using a no-dig method again. So I'm just scraping back the mulch. I'm just going to loosen the soil a tiny bit with my fingers. These seed potatoes have been sitting around since late spring, and they're a little bit soft, but they are putting out growth, so they should put out some roots. So let's pop those in, and then I'm just going to cover them over and cover them with the mulch, and as they grow I will add grass clippings and used duck bedding on top of them to layer it up to exclude the light. I'll try and keep the area weed free. And I'll carry on planting these about halfway down this bed because the far end has already got some beetroot in it. And again, I'll leave links to all of these seeds in the video description. And so wherever you are in the world and whatever you've got planned for today. I hope it's a good one. And I also hope you'll join me again next time.